What if I told you that there's a secret society with access to knowledge that allows them to control reality? And those who are a part of this society actually became some of the most powerful and influential humans in history, whose achievements consisted of winning wars, creating art that's still popular hundreds of years later, and changing the course of mankind with their inventions. Would you believe me? Well, the society that I'm talking about are the Freemasons. Within this society, though, there are different ranks, the most elite of which being the Freemasons of the highest rank, the 33rd degree Freemason, of which there are only a very few. You see, some of these individuals included the likes of Henry Ford, Benjamin Franklin, Mozart, Winston Churchill. Now, these men were the forefront of some of the most significant events in history. So the question to ask now is this: how were some of the most powerful individuals in history all part of the same organization, the same group? Did they have access to some knowledge that nobody else knew about? Here's the thing. The secrets of the Freemasons run much deeper than just its famous members. In fact, they've been rumored to be behind some of the biggest events in history, from the American Revolution to the French Revolution, and even the founding of the United States itself. Can you imagine how crazy that is? And for generations, the Freemasons have kept their secrets very, very closely guarded. But today, these secrets are now hidden in plain sight and woven into the very fabric of our modern-day society, and it's available to those who choose to open their eyes and see. Now, there was one man in particular who dared to shed light into the 33rd degree Masonic teachings, and his name was Manley Hall, who was initiated as a Freemason in 1954, and it took him 19 years to attain the status of a 33rd degree Freemason. Manley Hall's most influential piece of work was his book titled The Secret Teachings of All Ages, and in it he clearly and cleverly hides the Masonic teachings to control reality with the power of your mind. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the three main components of this Masonic teaching that will allow you to harness the power of your mind without the need to sell yourself. But they need to be paid close attention to and handled with care. Otherwise, they may become dangerous. So with that, let's get started. The book Manley Hall wrote, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, is highly sought after for a reason. The teachings within it are incredibly profound. It's easy to understand why it has garnered such attention. What's important to note is that the book outlines three main principles that I've observed in every successful person I've studied. These individuals, who were masters at shaping their reality and aligning it with their intentions, consistently followed these three principles. The first of these is the law of cause and effect. In Chapter 3 of The Secret Teachings of All Ages, titled The Human Body and Symbolism, Manley Hall emphasizes the unchanging nature of this law with the quote, "The immutability of the law was stressed, that every thought and act must react according to the nature of the energy liberated thereby. This reaction was symbolized by the circle, the symbol of infinite action." So I want you to take a moment to reflect on some key parts here. He talks about the immutability of the law, but then he also mentions the concept of infinite action and the circle. And this goes to suggest that everything that we're seeing in life is cyclical. It follows a cycle with respect to time. So society follows a cyclical fashion. Civilizations and empires rise, and then they fall, just like currencies. And this happened in the past with the German mark during the World War, with every single ancient civilization. Now they're thinking that, civilization wasn't linear, but advanced civilizations existed 12,000 years ago. They're starting to find out that the pyramids were actually built 14,000 to 15,000 years ago because of the erosion marks that they're seeing. And the erosion marks they're seeing in the pyramids actually arose from water. And that kind of water could have only been produced by a great flood, which is now known as the Younger Dryas. So all of these things, the idea that civilization is cyclical, life is cyclical, we're born, then we die. We follow a cycle of life, so it's not linear, everything is cyclical. And the other concept is that of infinite action. We're always in a process of acting. So, what I believe he means by this is energy is transferred from one form to the other. There is infinite action. One of the biggest misconceptions people have is they think physical action is different from mental action. They think mindset and action are different. You're either taking massive action or you're sitting at home and meditating in order to get a particular result and manifest a lottery win. That's completely false. If you really want to create an outcome in your life, there needs to be action, mental, spiritual, and physical. This is all action. Action is just movement. So this infinite action is infinite because it's moving cyclically. It never stops. There is a continual momentum, a vibration of particles and energy. Now, how this relates to cause and effect is an understanding that none of this really is luck. Everything that's happening in our lives, there is a clear law of cause and effect that's going on. Something is causing something else. We only call it luck because we're not able to explain the hidden sources from which they arise. This is the immutability of the law. Another interesting thing that I've noticed about all of these successful people that you look at through history is they really understand the law of cause and effect. What do I mean by that? Their reasoning process is not by analogy. How most people reason, how most people compare things, how most people come to their conclusions is they look at someone else, they look at what's happening right now, and they compare. They say, oh, this is happening like this, that person said this, therefore this must be true. I'm reading this in the news, therefore this must be true. This leads to fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And so people reason and hypothesize via analogy. They compare and contrast. That's what sheep do. They look at something else. They look at when to panic, and they look at when to ask for permission to do something. They don't think for themselves. The real way to use this law of cause and effect is what I've seen every single wealthy person do, every single successful person do. They reason via first principles. What does that mean? They break every single argument down to its fundamental truth. They break down every single argument to what is the fundamental accepted truth at the moment. So if you hear something, it's not necessarily true. Why would someone say that? You're basically asking why until you get to the root source of why this is happening. When you learn to reason via first principles, you immediately become a creator of your reality. Becoming a creator of your reality and learning to create reality. The most fundamental quality that's required is you being authentic. You being unique. You're not following someone else's path. The moment you start to compare with someone and contrast with someone, you say, oh, this person's running ads, and this person's doing YouTube, therefore I should do it, therefore I should do that. No. What's your own unique path? Can you reason via first principles why one method would work and why one wouldn't? When was the last time you just took some time to sit down and think about why things are the way they are? You haven't, right? So a lot of people don't do that. They don't sit down and really think about why things are the way they are. The key thing is, you have to understand this first law. You have to understand what the real causes are. What are the hidden causes that are causing all the effects that we're seeing? Everything that you see manifested in physical reality is but an effect. This leads very, very well into the second law, the law of spirit. And I'm going to explain to you exactly what that means. The second law that is absolutely crucial to understand if you want to be a creator of your reality is the law of spirit that he talks about in the book. And the quote goes like this. This is in chapter 12, Pythagorean Mathematics. And this is what he says. The universe is made up of successive gradations of good. These gradations ascend from matter, which is the least degree of good, to spirit, which is the greatest degree of good. In man, the three spheres of his threefold nature merge into a single unit, making him a single living soul. The importance of this quote is as follows. I believe this comes from Hermetic teachings, where Hermes Trismegistus, known as the greatest god of all time, who existed 5,000 years before the Common Era, I believe, in the Emerald Tablet talks about the three different planes of existence. He talks about how the least and most gross form of existence is the physical dimension. A level above that is the mental dimension. And the third level above that is the spiritual dimension. Hermes was known as Hermes Trismegistus, and Trismegistus translates to thrice greatest, meaning he's mastered all these three planes of existence. Manley Hall says how the least degree of good is matter, and the greatest degree of good is spirit. So I want you to take a moment to think about why he would say something like that. This is why the ancient yogis believe something like this too. They believe that the most gross form, which is matter, is influenced by the most subtle form, which is nothingness, and everything evolved out of nothingness. They believed that the universe, this world as we perceive it right now, evolved from nothingness. This nothingness became energy. This energy evolved into awareness. Awareness then evolved into consciousness. It started to become aware of itself. Consciousness. It became conscious of itself. This consciousness, there started to be movements within consciousness. And this movement within consciousness is called the mind. It's called thought. And this mind then created the body. If you look at placebo effects right now, your body literally has the ability to cure cancer, right? It has the ability to cure all sorts of ailments that you would have never imagined without any outside intervention. This is the technology. There are quantum computers that can't replicate the functions of human bodies yet. That's how sophisticated this system is. The mind is the doing of all of this. So in order to influence the body, we have to tap into the subtler dimensions of life. And this is exactly what he means by this quote. And this, again, interestingly goes back to this law of cause and effect, right? There is a subtle cause that is leading to all of these gross effects. If you want to create anything in your life, stop focusing on the gross matter, on the thing, on trying to manipulate and change something. Focus on the subtle source that's actually causing this effect that you're seeing. What is causing the effect that you're seeing right now? The subtle inevitably leads to the gross. So in order to make any physical change happen in your life, you have to look at the subtle source from which it originates. And this is where it all originates, in the mind. This actually leads very interestingly to the third law, the law of imagination. It's very interesting to see that Manley Hall goes really deep into it and describes it beautifully. He says, imagination is the star in man, the celestial or supercelestial body. This is the great secret of the mysteries. Imagination is the divine body in every man, the divine principle or idea by which each creature is begotten. And this is in chapter 25, the Pythagorean theory of music and color. Now, I want you to take a moment to reflect on this. Why does he call this the star in man? Why does he call this the celestial or supercelestial body? I believe this is the subtlest as the most subtle will get. And imagination is the power that runs everything. Einstein prized imagination. He said, "Imagination is the only thing that truly governs this world." And I believe that's why Hall describes this as the celestial or super-celestial body. The highest of them all, the greatest star that could ever exist. Another man who always talks about imagination is a person by the name of Neville Goddard. He was a 19th century philosopher, and Neville Goddard mentions imagination and awareness to be the most powerful of them all. And remember, in principle number 2, I talked about the concept of awareness and how the yogis believed that that's how it evolved. From nothingness to energy, to awareness, to consciousness, mind and body. Awareness in conjunction with imagination has the power to completely rule your life. The only form of visualization, though, that becomes very, very powerful is creative visualization. Now, there's a reason why they talk about imagination, because imagination has connotations of creativity. Creativity connotes the heart. If you simply picture something in your mind's eye, it has no effect. You're simply picturing. There's a difference between imagining and picturing. Neville Goddard always talks about visualizing, thinking feelingly. So when you visualize creatively anything that you want in your life, and you project it in your mind's eye, then you're automatically invoking two of the most necessary components of manifestation and reality creation. This involves the heart and the mind. In everything that you do, both your heart and mind, if they're in a single congruent line. For example, let's say you want a job, and you really feel good about getting that job, and it makes you feel great. Then the probability that you will get that job is a lot higher. If you want to grow your business revenue, if you think about it and you feel the associated feelings of what it would be like to get that job, and you live from the end, the probability that you will get it is a lot higher. Because now you're manipulating the subtler dimensions of energy, which is what I believe every single successful person, every single one of these Freemasons that you've seen, that's what they do so effectively. So if you practice creative visualization for the next 30 days, you will begin to see changes happen in your reality like never before. What Neville Goddard talks about is practicing creative visualization as you fall asleep before bed every single night. This also invokes your subconscious mind to completely absorb it. So your conscious and the subconscious mind, again, the mind and the heart, when they work in conjunction with each other, only then do you unlock the power of reality creation. So, this is what I want you to do for the next 30 days. Pick one goal that you want to create in your life, that you want to accomplish. It could be something really big, or it could be something really small. Don't judge it. Don't make it too unrealistic, obviously, but lean over the edge without falling off. What does that mean? Make it large and somewhat believable, but also somewhat uncomfortable, outside of your comfort zone. The thing that you want that will set your heart free, so that you feel completely resonant with it. Pick that goal and visualize different instances of that goal being achieved. What does your life look like after that goal has been achieved? And do that as you fall asleep every single night. I want you to commit to that and do that. And once you do, I hope you'll begin to see changes. But really, the principle I want you to take away from this is creative visualization involving both your heart and your mind, thinking feelingly. Now, I believe one of the most powerful ways in which you can make a permanent shift in your life is by influencing the subtle. What's the most subtle cause that you can tap into right now? What's the most subtle thing that we're not even aware of? They say, in life we question all the beliefs, except the beliefs we're deeply identified with. And those are the beliefs that run our lives. The thing that we will never question is our identity. Once you learn how to shift your identity from the very, very core, and you become a completely different person, a completely new person, you experience a completely new reality.
The secret of Masonry, like the secret of life, can be known only by those who seek it, serve it, live it. It cannot be uttered. It can only be felt and acted. William Taft. For centuries, secret organizations have been the ruler of society, operating from the shadows, guiding the course of history, and wielding power in ways that most of us can hardly imagine. Within these secret societies, they share a common thread: hidden knowledge and secrets given only to the elite to navigate and manipulate the fabric of reality in a way that appears to be magical. 33-degree Masonry is one of these elusive societies. And throughout history, some of the most influential figures have been members of the Freemason Brotherhood. From founding fathers like George Washington to visionaries like Benjamin Franklin. Other famous Freemasons include Mozart, Winston Churchill, Mark Twain, Henry Ford, and as many as 14 U.S. presidents, including Andrew Jackson, Franklin Roosevelt, and Harry Truman. And Masonic symbolism can be found everywhere, interwoven into our daily lives in a prominent way. From the all-seeing eye, to the square and compasses seen on buildings, historical markers, and monuments, to the mosaic pavement found in places such as the Congressional Library. This Masonic symbolism has permeated various aspects of everyday life, often without the explicit recognition of those not familiar with Freemasonry and reflecting the widespread influence of Masonic traditions. How did this influence become so widespread? Many of the greatest and most prominent minds in history were Freemasons. They had secret knowledge of how to govern and rule their destiny. One of their secrets is a deep understanding of universal laws and principles that govern success, power, and abundance. When harnessed correctly, the secrets they understood led to power and profound influence. What sets these groups apart is their mastery of ancient wisdom and universal principles that many pass by, unaware of the profound impact they can have on their lives. These secrets, which revolve around the laws of the universe itself, are the keys to unlocking potential, achieving greatness, and even altering the course of history. If we ourselves tap into the same magic that these notable figures have used to shape their destinies, principles that are seemingly reserved for the elite and those with knowledge of esoteric wisdom, we may also achieve any greatness that we choose in our own lives. These principles are woven into the fabric of the universe, accessible to anyone willing to seek them out and apply them with intention and purpose. However, the knowledge of how to use these universal secrets to one's advantage remains elusive to the majority. And it's not just about knowing that these laws exist. It's about understanding how they interconnect and how to apply them properly to be in harmony with your personal goals. In this video, I'll unlock 3 secrets of what has been taught behind the closed doors of these organizations and uncover how you can use this to create your reality in very deliberate and precise ways. I'll not only share these principles with you, but also teach you 3 powerful ways to apply them and put them into action so that you harness the innate power within you for massive personal transformation, success, and abundance. Let's talk about a very influential 33-degree Mason, Manley Hall. Manley Hall was also an author and mystic and made significant contributions to the study and understanding of esoteric philosophy. Hall viewed Freemasonry as a custodian of ancient wisdom and a path to personal transformation and enlightenment, and endeavored to share this in a way that everyone had access to it. This work spans a wide array of subjects including mysticism, ancient religions, symbolism, and philosophy, but can be somewhat overwhelming and difficult to comprehend. His most notable work, The Secret Teachings of All Ages, published in 1928, is a broad exploration of ancient philosophies, mystical traditions, and secret societies from around the world. It includes discussions on universal truths that form the foundation of human spiritual knowledge, and has been highly regarded within various circles for its depth and exploration on the deeper aspects of Masonic teachings and their interconnectedness with the broader spectrum of mystical and philosophical traditions. Within the secret teachings of all ages, Hall delves into Hermeticism, an ancient spiritual and philosophical tradition. Hermetic principles, as derived from the Hermetic texts like the Emerald Tablet, are pivotal in understanding the workings of the universe, the interconnectivity of all things, and how to apply these universal truths for success and abundance in all areas of life. Manley Hall put great emphasis on the first secret in his works, the principle of mentalism. This is the first Hermetic principle. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This principle underlines the concept that the underlying reality of this universe is that there is one universal mind or field of consciousness, and that all phenomena in the material world are ultimately mental in nature. This foundational belief in the power of the mind to shape reality is a core tenet of Hermetic philosophy, and is echoed throughout Hall's discussions on various mystical traditions. The Hermetic principle of mentalism also finds a parallel in the Masonic teaching that the mind is the foundation of reality. 33rd degree Freemasons are believed to hold the understanding that through the power of thought and intention, one can manifest changes in the physical world. One of their secrets is holding the belief that those who master their minds can master the world around them. The elite, versed in these teachings, use this magical principle to their advantage, shaping societal narratives and outcomes through directed thought and intention. How do they do this? With 5 simple steps. 1. They hold a conscious intention of their intended outcome. 2. They focus on its realness as an already existing fact. 3. They think, speak, and act as if it's already so. 4. They take inspired action only as the way and means to make it tangible. And 5. They allow the perfection of this universal principle, that all is mind, to work for them and align with the simplicity of that to provide the desired outcome. Notice that all of this is mental work. Even inspired action, which is much different from effort, comes from the mind. Harnessing the first Hermetic principle, all is mind, involves understanding that your perceptions, beliefs, and thoughts shape your reality. By directing thought and intention deliberately, you influence your life and your environment. Man's status in the natural world is determined, therefore, by the quality of his thinking, Manley Hall. This law of mentalism is more about being than it is about doing. This is why so many can put in a tremendous amount of action and experience limited results. They choose to remain asleep to the power that being holds. But when you become aware of how to align and harmonize your chosen way of being with the principle of mentalism and the other principles that will be mentioned here, you will discover just how simple creating desired outcomes can be. Your only job is to clearly define the intention, what you desire, which will always have a why behind it, a reason. The universal mind's job provides the how and the when, which often includes a who, or several whos. This principle always works, not sometimes, but always. The more intentional, focused, and consistent you are in your being of the 5 steps, the quicker you allow this principle to work for you. Manley Hall, through his extensive writings on esoteric traditions, also wrote about the second secret to the magic taught to the elite Freemasons, the principle of vibration. In both Hermeticism and 33 degree Freemasonry, the principle of vibration, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates, highlights the power of energy in its various forms. Hall taught that understanding the vibratory nature of the universe could lead to profound insights into the nature of reality itself. By recognizing that everything has its unique vibrational frequency, from the most ethereal forms of thought and spirit to the most material forms of matter, we can begin to understand the interconnectedness of all things and how that can influence our personal reality. However, the principle of vibration is often perceived to be something that is too complicated for the average person to understand. But it's actually quite simple. Simply put, everything that exists, both seen and unseen, emits a vibrational frequency. Everything is in motion. From the Kabbalion, it's stated, "This hermetic principle was enunciated thousands of years ago by the masters of ancient Egypt." This principle explains that the differences between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit result largely from varying rates of vibration. An understanding of this principle, with the appropriate formulas, enables Hermetic students to control their own mental vibrations as well as those of others. He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. Thoughts, words, sounds, and light are vibrations. Our entire universe and everything within it, seen and unseen, is a vibrating mass of atoms and subatomic particles. By learning to become consciously aware of this truth and control what vibrations we are creating and emanating within ourselves and projecting into the unified field of consciousness, we can align and harmonize those vibrations to consistently manipulate that field and attract the things that we desire to experience in our lives. The scepter of power. In 33rd degree Freemasonry, they harness this principle, using vibrations such as those in words, symbols, and rituals to influence the energy of their surroundings and create desired outcomes. During Masonic rituals, specific words and phrases are recited with deliberate intention, each chosen for their historical significance and vibrational quality. These words are believed to carry specific energies that, when voiced with collective focus and intention, can elevate the vibrational frequency of the space and the individuals present. This deliberate engagement with vibrational energies reflects a profound understanding of how subtle forces can be directed to shape reality, illustrating the deep esoteric knowledge embedded within the highest ranks of Freemasonry. It is a sophisticated method of shaping reality, demonstrating that the universe's very fabric can be altered through sound, thought, and intention. Man is thus surrounded by a supersensible universe, of which he knows nothing because the centers of sense perception within himself have not been developed sufficiently to respond to the subtler rates of vibration of which that universe is composed. Manley Hall. So how can you use this second secret, the scepter of power and vibrational frequency, to accomplish the same things in your life? Understanding that our feelings translate into vibrations that shape our experiences is the key to influencing the quality of our lives. The principle here is straightforward. The predominant feelings that we harbor, that often surface automatically from the recesses of our subconscious mind, act like magnets, keeping us aligned with experiences that resonate with those emotional states. Here's a 4-step process to shift that in your favor. Number 1, pause often at various times during your day to check in with how you're feeling. Recognize these feelings as indicators of the vibrational energy that you're currently emitting. Especially focus on moments of discomfort to develop the skill of shifting your emotional states. This practice will begin to lay the foundation for making a vibrational adjustment. Number 2, whenever you catch yourself feeling negative emotions like anger, sadness, or frustration, take immediate steps to shift to a more positive state. One effective method is to concentrate on something that naturally brings you joy, such as thoughts of loved ones, cherished memories, or the simple presence of your pets. Maintain focus on this positive trigger until you feel your emotional state has genuinely shifted to a higher vibration. You'll know this when you've reached elevated states of emotion. Once you have a grasp on these 2 steps, the 3rd step is to start actively cultivating states of love, gratitude, and joy. These high vibrational emotions are powerful attractors of positive experiences that align with them. Make it a practice to infuse your day with these feelings, transforming your overall vibrational blueprint. And step 4 is to incorporate personal symbols or words into your practice, much like the elite harness symbols for vibrational work. Choose an object or a word that resonates deeply with you, representing your aspirations or desired feelings. While holding or focusing on this symbol, consciously fill it with the energy of your chosen positive feeling states. Let this symbol serve as a tactile reminder throughout your day, helping you access and amplify those high vibrational emotions at will. This process will help you learn to manage your emotional states. By integrating these steps into your daily routine, you're actively molding your vibrational state to create a more joyful and fulfilling reality. In the Secret Teachings of All Ages, Manley Hall discusses the interconnectedness of all things and the idea that nothing happens by chance, but rather as a part of a divine order or cosmic law. His writings illustrate how ancient civilizations, philosophers, and esoteric traditions have worked with this principle, the principle of cause and effect, to gain deeper insights into the nature of reality and to live in harmony with the universal laws. Acknowledging every cause has its effect, every effect has its cause, everything happens according to law, the elite manipulate this principle to orchestrate events that appear coincidental, but are in fact carefully planned. This mastery over cause and effect enables them to remain several steps ahead, ensuring their continued dominance and the perpetuation of their influence across generations. Listen to these profound words from the Kabbalion describing this. The Hermeticists understand the art and methods of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect, to a certain degree, and by mentally rising to a higher plane, they become causers instead of effects. The masses of people are carried along, obedient to environment. The wills and desires of others stronger than themselves, heredity, suggestion, and other outward causes moving them about like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the masters, rising to the plane above, dominate their moods, characters, qualities, and powers, as well as the environment surrounding them, and become movers instead of pawns. They help to play the game of life, instead of being played and moved about by other wills and environment. They use the principle instead of being its tools. The masters obey the causation of the higher planes, but they help to rule on their own plane. Like all other universal laws, the law of cause and effect is unchanging and deliberate. It is precise in its application and delivery. It knows no prejudice and delivers an exact proportion to all based on the seeds that you choose to plant through your thoughts and feeling states. It always delivers back to you the results of whatever you put out into the universe. As with any life on Earth, a seed, the cause, must first exist in order for anything to enter into and experience life, the effect. This is sowing and reaping in action. This principle is not complicated, but it is as certain and precise as the law of gravity. The outcome is predictable. The only thing that keeps a seed from growing is proper nurturing. With this principle, it's crucial to understand that the seed that is planted can only produce and must produce what the seed was designed to grow. Like the soil you would plant a seed in to grow a crop, the field of consciousness from the principle of mentalism is the soil for our seeds of thought. The two function in the same manner. The thought seed is planted through the principle of mentalism. The frequencies of vibration that we emit attract into the physical world the result of the thought seed that was planted and nurtured through the principle of vibration, and this results in a cause that creates an effect, tying these three principles together, what is commonly referred to as the law of attraction. If your thought seed consists of anxious, fearful, and doubtful end results, which correspond with anxious, fearful, and doubtful feelings or vibrational states, those thoughts can only grow into and produce the effect of those seeds that have been planted, receiving results that are the same as the thoughts and the feelings. If your thought seeds consist of happy, loving, abundant end results, which correspond with happy, loving, and abundant feelings or vibrational states, those thoughts also can only grow into and produce the effect of those seeds that have been planted, receiving results that are the same as the thoughts and the feelings. Once again, this principle is precise and knows no prejudice. So the choice is yours. The choice is to train yourself to limit your thoughts, words, and actions to only those which will produce what you desire in your life. If you must take actions that are out of alignment with that initially, be certain to keep your thoughts and wording in check, as well as continuing to monitor and adjust your feeling states. For example, if you are creating your reality to have a specific amount of money within a specified period of time, based on the precise and unwavering truths of cause and effect, sowing and reaping, it wouldn't benefit you to repeat to yourself either out loud or mentally, "I don't have the money I need," or "There's no way I will have the money I need on time." Your thoughts, the seed, and the corresponding feeling states will return to you exactly the harvest in relation to the seeds that you planted. In this case, not having the money. If you are intentionally making an honest and focused effort to produce the results that you want, and you find that stray thoughts pop up that are not in alignment with your goal, and it's almost certain that this will happen initially for most based on old subconscious patterning, which must be readjusted, these will be the weeds that try to take over your harvest. You must consciously and consistently pluck them out of the soil of your mental landscape and the field of consciousness, so that you are not utilizing the law of cause and effect to produce the results that you no longer desire. You have the ability to gain control over this with two things: your conscious mind and your sheer determination. How bad do you want the new outcome? If it's a non-negotiable for you, remain determined and persistent, and decide that it is your conscious mind that will be in charge of your new habits until the harvest presents itself to you. Once this takes place, the only possible thing that can stand in the way of you receiving your desires is contradicting dominant thoughts and feeling states created by you. Only you can make the conscious choice to change your thoughts, words, and actions. In doing this with repetition, you will establish a belief within your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind, which is connected to the broader field of consciousness, then releases your thought seed into this field of consciousness, while simultaneously broadcasting your aligned vibrations of that new belief, which will attract back to you people, events, situations, and circumstances that allow it to manifest into your life. You only have to be receptive to them. Expect it to happen, and then watch as it does. The other 4 hermetic principles, which I'll outline briefly here and then go over in more depth in a later video, are the principle of correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. This principle suggests that the patterns and laws observed in the universe mirror those in our personal lives. I'll leave a video in the description that shows you how to alter your reality with your mind based on this concept. Next is the principle of polarity. Everything has its opposite, and opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. This principle highlights that contradictions are actually different aspects of the same thing. The principle of rhythm. Life is a series of ebbs and flows, highs and lows. This principle teaches that everything moves in cycles, and recognizing this rhythm can help us navigate through life's changes. And then the principle of gender. Everything contains masculine and feminine elements. This principle emphasizes the importance of balancing these aspects within ourselves and in the world for creation and harmony. The interweaving of hermetic principles with the esoteric knowledge of 33rd degree Freemasonry offers a revealing look into the use of ancient wisdom by the elite. This hidden knowledge serves as a tool for understanding and manipulating the layers of reality, demonstrating that the keys to the universe's mysteries are held by those who venture beyond the veil of the ordinary and into the realms of the extraordinary.